Well, good morning, everyone. It's Adrian Laws, and I haven't done a vlog for a couple of weeks because stuff's been going on. Not feeling particularly brilliant. Had a bit of a cold and a cough. And my lovely friends who came over to visit from Australia were kind enough to leave with me. Bless them. But anyway, I was working last week, and I happened to be driving from one location to another, and I was listening to Radio 2, yeah, because I'm that sort of age now, and I was kind of listening at lunchtime, and the conversation was centred around whether it was worth us bothering sending that's Britain, I'm saying here, when I say us, worth us as a British team sending a team to the Winter Olympics, because at that point we weren't doing particularly well. What followed was really got my back up, and I don't normally get ranty and angry about things on radios, and in having looked back at it, I realised it was done to provoke, really. They had a reporter, commentator on there called Mike Parry, who is part of TalkSport, and he writes for national newspapers and things like that. And basically he said that we shouldn't bother sending a team to the Winter Olympics anymore because we're not good enough and the money could be spent better elsewhere. And because we haven't won enough, we shouldn't send a team. It's not worth it. Then on the other side of the coin was Chris Akabusi, who was our amazing Olympian, who is a champion for athletes and a champion for keep persisting and pushing through. And I could pick up his frustration at the comments from Mike Parry. And again, I know it was just to provoke and to, I have to say, annoy certain people. But boy, did it work. Do you know, the thing that frustrated me was that I work within schools and with young people. My message to young people all the time is, if you're willing to work hard enough and you're willing to sacrifice enough, don't ever give up. I'll say that again. If you're willing to work hard enough and willing to sacrifice enough, don't ever give up, because you will bear some fruit from your efforts and your actions. But basically what Mike Parry just said was, if you're not getting the glory, if you're not getting the gold, just pack up and go home and give up. Don't bother anymore. And that saddened me. That was just what I didn't want to hear in this country. When, I spend my life trying to build resilience into young people, not to give up, not to throw the towel in when you don't get the best result day one, when it doesn't go your way. And yet in the other breath, we're fighting with people who are saying, give up, you're not worthy, just throw the towel in and go back to doing a menial job, or a job or something that's not going to give you a future. Just become part of the status quo. How is that? What message is that to young people? Give up. Don't bother anymore. I was trying to think of examples, and I go back to things like Andy Murray. Everyone ridiculed him because he kept choking at the last minute. He didn't quite get it. And then all of a sudden, he got it. And he became Wimbledon champion and Australian champion and champion in lots of other tennis championships. He won, basically. He nailed it. Paula Radcliffe. When I look back at Paula Radcliffe as a runner, oh my word, she went out guns blazing. Her running style isn't pretty to look at, and she got beaten so many times. And then all of a sudden, it all came together, and she won, and she was a champion. And isn't that the same for everyone in this sphere of sport and business? You don't get it immediately. You have to work at it. And keep working at it. And graft. And never give up. And not listen to people like Mike Parry, the naysayers, who take great pleasure in knocking people for giving 100% and doing their very best. So my message is really short today, actually. My message is really short. Why do we give time and attention to naysayers? Why do we do that? Why do we allow these people a platform to basically ridicule and criticise people who are willing to put their backsides on the line for something they believe in, they are passionate about and want to achieve greatness in? And if they don't achieve greatness, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they kept persevering and pushing through. The very thing that young people are having smashed out of them at the moment. I hear it so many, oh, you're not good enough, give up, throw the towel in, don't bother. Well, what recipe is that for the rest of your life? We don't deserve anything. We don't get anything unless we work for it. We don't get anything unless we work for it. One more time, we do not get anything unless we work for it. And if we don't hit the standard, there are other options. There are other options. Now, I have no doubt that Mike Parry is a great journalist. Imagine, Mike, my message to you is when you went to university, and you did, because I had a look at your Wikipedia, so it must be true. I looked at your Wikipedia and it said you went to university and studied journalism. Imagine if you were sitting back in your university days and your tutor or your university teacher said to you, do you know what, Mike, you just ain't cutting it. Go back home. Don't bother coming again because you're not good enough to cut it in journalism. Imagine that, Mike. Imagine if someone had said that to you. You're not good enough. Would you have given up? Would you have had the energy sucked out of you or the belief in yourself to do it? So my thing this week is, Mike Parry, you were never and never have been an elite sportsman. You might be a good journalist, but that's not for me to judge. When you went into journalism, was it to criticise people? Was it to knock people? I don't know. I thought you was to report the facts, not to criticise and destroy people. Imagine if you're a young person in training for something now and you'd have heard that interview. Oh, why should I bother? Why? What is the point? That Mike Parry's got a point. The irony of it all, our Winter Olympic team came back with the best results we've ever had. Yeah, certain people didn't do well. Yeah, our speed skater got knocked over and didn't medal. Can I just rewind? She is actually the world champion. She might not have nailed it in the Olympics. She is the world champion. That means the best in the world. Didn't get that by just popping down the local ice rink and shooting around the rink for a couple of minutes. She got that through hard work, graft, people believing in her, getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning, hours and hours in the weights room, working on her leg strength and whatever, working on her technique, working on her focus, working on her self-belief. Thankfully, I imagine that our athletes actually treat Mike Parry's comments with the contempt they're worth. Put them in the bin, down the toilet, because that's all they are, crap. So, come on, Britain. Stop giving platforms to naysayers and negative people. Start building people up. And when people fail in sport, that's what happens. On the day of any event, there's a winner and a loser. You can't all be winners. But you can aspire to be winners through hard work, graft, and just keeping going. So my message, that's a metaphor for life in general. When it's all getting on top and you don't think you can keep going anymore, what are we going to do? We take the Mike Parry solution, throw the towel in, collapse in the chair and just give up. No, we're not. We have to keep going. So don't take the Mike Parry route. Take the positive route. Take the route of success, which is hard flipping work, which is perseverance, resilience. So for your kids, drill it into them. It's okay to fail. It's okay to think you're never going to get there. Actually, then you just got to alter that mindset and believe in yourself and be the force behind our kids that actually instills belief in them, not destroys that belief. There's enough negative influences for not just young people, but for all of us. How about buying into the positive influences? The can-do attitude, I'll try attitude. Eradicate these words from your vocabulary. Can't, won't, impossible. Change them to can, will and possible. Anything is possible if you apply yourself. If you surround yourself with people that believe in you, if you surround yourself with people that give you honest feedback, not feedback to destroy you, but actually, do you know what? This is what you need to do to get to this. Or actually, maybe you want to think about changing the sort of journey you're on and going down another route, but don't give up. All right, guys, I'm done ranting, because I'm not really ranting. It's just me expressing my frustration at even giving a platform to someone like that. Jeremy Vine, take note. People don't want to hear people moaning and slagging people off. They want to build people up. If it's a thing of national concern, politics or whatever, yeah, by all means, you've got to voice it. But if just we're talking about the Olympics here, and it didn't cost anyone anything, because as far as I'm aware, the Olympic team is funded by the National Lottery. Funded by the National Lottery. Something we all buy into. I'd rather it's done like that and give people a chance to go on and achieve greatness than do nothing. You watch, 4 years' time, we'll bring more medals back. Go back to the other Olympics, we were the standing joke, Britain. We never used to do anything. We used to celebrate if we got one gold medal. Now we expect results back now, because we've seen what investment does to sport and what investment does to people. So let's invest in young people, not just in sport, but in business, in everything, in education. Invest in their emotional development. Right, I could go on all day, as is blatantly obvious. I'm going to check out now. I'm going to say, have a great week, be blessed, and start living in what you are capable of, not what you believe you're incapable of. God bless, peace and love. I'm out.